Let's talk about Josh Allen's candidacy here. Allen at 14-1 right now, following Buffalo's I would say upset. It was basically a coin flip game on the road in Kansas City this past week. And if you'd like, we can get to some of the other guys, like Tyreek Hill, maybe at 16-1. Any other MVP thoughts here, please, starting with Josh Allen?
Yeah, I think like Josh Allen, Lamar, and Tyreek Hill would kind of be the I guess I could see it happening, but it would take a lot. They would kind of be those candidates. And it doesn't mean they can't win. And the market has them priced like it would take a lot, to be fair. So it doesn't even mean they're bad bets. Lamar's, I'll do Josh Allen first because you asked me about it. So the problem with betting this price, this is a great bet if you believe the following thing to be true. That if the Bills win every game from now to the end of the season, that he definitely wins. That he definitely wins. Not like, well, it'd be close. Definitely wins. And if you think that's true, that like the recency bias of this, he's a player that a lot of people love anyway. His stat profile will almost certainly be close to as good as Dak and Brock Purdy. If he does this, if he wins these games, if you think that he gets it, then you should bet this because the price is really good for that. My problem is I don't think that. I think that it would be really close. And I would want to know what the other guys did. And I think a lot of people would say the same thing. Like, well, does Dak win some of the game? Does Dak win every other game except Sunday? Does Brock Purdy win out and beat Baltimore? Like, what happens? And those other permutations are what make this price. Because if you just felt like if they won, it's him, then figure out what the rolling money line parlay is of the 4 games. They're going to be favored in all 4. They're going to be big favorites in 2 of them. It's way less than this. It's way less than this. So, like, if you feel like if he wins them all, he's in, this is a great bet. I don't think that. I think he would have a really good chance, but I would need to know what everybody else did. I need to know what the stats were like. I need to know how he looked in the games where they won. And because of that, that's why the price is what it is. So, like, people can say, oh, like, long shot, this is so good because, like, if they run the table, and I guess my point is, like, yeah, that's, like, why this price is this. Because they're a 2-point favorite on Sunday. They're going to play Miami in the last game of the year. Tyreek's at least probably okay by then. And then you probably get like an okay Miami team. And that point spread's a really small point spread too. Buffalo's probably a small road favorite in that game. So like, okay, yeah, it could be a good bet. You have to, in order to make the bet and click the button, you have to think if they went out, it's his. And I'm just not willing to concede that right now. I think it's like, it'd be really close. I think he'd be in the finalist. It'd be him and Purdy and Dak, or him and Purdy and Tyreek if he gets 2,000, or him and Purdy and Lamar, whatever. And I don't know what would happen. And I think he'd have a case, but like, that's why the price is what it is. So I think that's the Josh Allen part of this, like intriguing candidate. Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's only 5 guys who can win. He's one of them. Like that's, of course it's intriguing. He's more intriguing than Tua, who can't win. He's more intriguing than Jared Goff. But just like, is it a valuable bet? You have to think that if they went out, it's his. And that's tough.
Game of the week for sure in the National Football League. Buffalo coming off, I guess it was like technically an upset win in Kansas City. Dallas throttling the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Buffalo's a 2-point favorite in the game's like close to like a coin flippy game, basically like pick the winner. Total 50.5. Maybe we get some like inclement weather in the forecast. We'll see over the course of the next couple days. Baldy, who do you think wins and why on Sunday? The Bills or the Cowboys?
Well, I think one of the underrated aspects of this Cowboys season has been the play of their secondary. Obviously, Deron Bland has received a lot of attention, but Stephon Gilmore is as good a corner as there is in football. He's played great. He was great against the Eagles last Sunday night. He forced a fumble out of A.J. Brown's hands. I mean, if he wants to lock up and challenge Stephon Diggs, he's going to do that at times. He'll travel with them. I just feel like Dallas, I mean, it's far more than Micah Parsons and Deron Bland. Like, Donovan Wilson is healthy. They've figured out Marquise Bell and his role and how good he is. I like the Cowboys defensively to really throttle Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to give it a heroic effort. He needs to for them to have a chance. And we haven't even begun to talk about just how dynamic this Cowboys offense is, how well they protect Dak, how well Dak is moving, and the plays that he's making. I think Dallas is just far more complete a team than is Buffalo right now.
So the Steelers obviously got bet a little bit. This was like 2.5. Now it's 1.5. Part of the reason for that, TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith both cleared concussion protocol and will start along opposite each other on the Steelers defensive line and try to chase down Gardner Minshew. And we'll see how that goes. Colts 1.5, total 42.5. Nick and I talked about the over a lot earlier in the week, especially if these guys weren't going to play. I think I still like the over, but it's a little unclear now since both those guys are going to play. How do you feel here? Colts 1.5, 42.5 in the midday game on Saturday.
Yeah, I still like it, guys. Over 42.5. Shane Steichen overs continue to be something you can look at every single week. Much like the Bengals, I think the Colts play this over team role the rest of the season with the playoffs lingering. We're seeing a lot of these teams right on the fringe of these like wild card spots that are competitive. Their games are just skewing higher scoring the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think that's going to continue to play out. So you have the Colts and Steichen overs on one side, and then you have the Steelers. I think about the 3 weeks that they've had, and it's a play caller switch against Cincinnati going from Canada to Sullivan. The Arizona game had 2 weather delays that stopped everything, plus you lost Kenny Pickett, and then it was the Pats defense on a short week trying to transition into your second quarterback as a new play caller in his 3rd week against a good defense. And so extra time to prepare for Pittsburgh, to sort things out for Trubisky. I think the Steelers offense looks a lot better. I think they play a good partner here to the over. So let's go over in this one as well. Another ugly short total, but I think lots of reasons to look for points here.
Joining us right now, making his You Better You Bet debut, and we're very happy to have him on the show. Legendary NFL figure, analyst for our friends at ESPN, former NFL head coach, former college football head coach, the great Herman Edwards joins us here on You Better You Bet on Twitter at Herm Edwards. Coach, we sincerely appreciate the time. It's Nick Kostos and Ken Barkley here on You Better You Bet on the BetQL Network. How are you? Thank you very much.
I'm well, and thank you guys for allowing me to be on your show.
I appreciate that, Coach, and a privilege to talk to you for the first time. Why don't we start with something in the betting market that we've been talking about a lot this week? The San Francisco 49ers are the favorites to win the Super Bowl, at least in the betting market. Then a big gap between them and every other team. I'm curious if you see it the same way. Do you have San Francisco head and shoulders number one? And if that's the case, who would you have the second most likely team to win?
Well, if you were ranking them in college football right now and you went through the NFC, you would say San Francisco is the favorite by 14 points over the Dallas Cowboys. Then it would be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. That's how I kind of look at it on the NFC side of things. AFC side of it, right now with the Ravens playing the way they're playing, I think they would be the favorite. At once upon a time, I thought Miami would do that, but you can see with when Hill is out of the lineup, they're lost offensively. So that's a little bit bothersome. Jacksonville is there. Kansas City is there. You can't count Kansas City out, although they're struggling mightily in the second half. I've only averaged about 7 points in that second half. And the Buffalo Bills, sneakily, they're coming. They got a chance. They play in a lot of games. They understand what it takes to play in the playoffs. So they're a team that's kind of headed in the right direction.